This video is dedicated to the memory of my cat, Navi. Navi, I'm so sorry. You'll be forever missed, and we love you. Recently, I lost my cat in a tragic accident. I debated whether to even make this video since it doesn't align with my usual content, but I chose to do it for 3 reasons. Number 1, to remember Navi and work through my grief that I'm experiencing. Number 2, to create an online tribute that will last for as long as YouTube exists. And number 3, to ask for your help. Navi's story. Navi entered our lives as abruptly as she left it. One afternoon after returning from uni, I decided to check the mailbox. Something I don't always do. As I shuffled through the letters, I heard a tiny meow. Looking up, I saw a kitten in the middle of the road. It was a quiet street, but there was no one around, and I asked myself, how did this tiny kitten get there? I rushed over to help before a car would come through. The kitten, startled, darted into the neighbor's garden. With the neighbor's help, I managed to get her out and into my hands. She was scared and alone, but appeared healthy. I knocked on a few doors around the street, but no one claimed her. What started as a quick trip to check the mail turned into 40 minutes, and my wife called, wondering where I was. I told her I'd found something and I'd explain when I got home. As I walked up the driveway, my wife and 2-year-old daughter Zelda were playing outside. Zelda saw the kitten and immediately yelled excitedly, "Is that cat for me?" I looked at my wife and we both had the same confused look on our faces. "Maybe," I replied. A visit to the vet revealed the kitten was probably about 5 or 6 weeks old and in good health. The vet gave me the option to rehome her or to take her home with me. Looking into her trusting little eyes, I decided to take her for probably just a few weeks, but those weeks turned into 4 beautiful years. The lesson here is always trust your instincts. If I hadn't gone out and checked the mail that day, Navi might not have ever bumped into me, and she wouldn't have had the life that she did. What was Navi like? As a kitten, Navi was adorable. She followed me everywhere, played constantly, and was especially interested in my daughter Zelda. Her name, Navi, came from the fairy companion in the game Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, since she followed my daughter Zelda everywhere, just like the fairy follows Link in the game. As she grew older, Navi had her quirks. At around age 2, she began showing aggression towards my wife, attacking her ankles and legs and leaving deep scratches. There were a few points where we considered rehoming her, but my wife just couldn't bear to break Zelda's heart. With time, patience, and a move to a new home with more outdoor space, her aggression did lessen. Despite the challenges, Navi was a wonderful cat with children. She had a really high tolerance and would simply quietly leave if bothered too much. Most of all, Navi and I shared a special bond. I was her number 1, and I miss that deeply. Navi's accident. On Tuesday, January 7th, 2025, my family's life changed forever. That morning started well. I'd gotten up early for a walk, part of my new routine, and afterward I sat at my computer to plan my day. Navi came into the office to say hello and did something rare. She jumped up onto my lap, relaxed, and let me pet her. She gave me a look of love, and then she hopped down to explore the office. Later, as we prepared to leave the house, I noticed that I hadn't seen Navi and briefly thought to check under the car, but I dismissed the thought, assuming she was just outside. As I reversed out the garage, I could feel the steering was off with the car, like I had a flat tire. Then I felt a few bumps, and as I left the driveway, I noticed Navi's body roll out from under the car. Her head was crushed, and her body was convulsing as if trying to run away. I rushed out of the car, screaming, and told my daughter not to look. I held Navi as her movements slowed and then stopped. She was gone within a few minutes. I was devastated. I screamed, I cried, I questioned myself. Why didn't I check under the car? I'll never forgive myself for ignoring that voice in my head and not following my instincts. The grief. That day, my daughter and I stayed home. We buried Navi in her favourite spot under the pool deck, where she often basked in the sun. We created a small garden around her grave and said our goodbyes through tears. Grief has been a messy, unpredictable process. At first, the memories of Navi made me sad, but over time, they've begun to bring smiles instead. I'm grateful for that brief moment we shared that morning, just her and me. My daughter Zelda has been my rock, often asking how I'm feeling and offering her support. A few days later, I asked how she was feeling, and she broke down, releasing the emotions she'd been holding in. This has probably been her first experience with death at her age, and it's been a tough but important lesson for both of us. To anyone going through a similar grief, it does get better, even if it doesn't feel like it now. Just hang in there. I need your help. If you've made it this far, thank you. I want to ask for your help, and it's entirely your choice if you want to. Navi's loss has left a hole in our hearts. In a few months, we'd like to welcome a new kitten into our home. This isn't about replacing Navi. Nothing ever could. It's about filling the void with love for another cat. We've identified the ragdoll breed as a good fit due to their kind, non-aggressive nature. However, ragdoll breeds can be a bit expensive. I've started a GoFundMe page for anyone who might watch this and wish to support us to help bring this new kitten into our family. It's not critical that anyone contributes. We'll find a way regardless. But if you'd like to help us, it would mean the world to us if you do. Goodbye, Navi. I am so sorry for what happened. I'll never be able to forgive myself. I hope you could feel my presence in your final moments. Zelda will miss you. Even my wife misses you. Thank you for being part of our lives. Until I see you at the Rainbow Bridge, goodbye, my sweet angel, Navi.